Stand Up is the second studio album by the British rock band Jethro Tull, released in 1969. Before recordings for the album began, the band's original guitarist Mick Abrahams resigned because of musical differences with Ian Anderson. Abrahams wanted to stay with the blues rock sound of their 1968 debut. This was while Anderson wished to add other musical influences such as folk rock. He was replaced by guitarist Martin Barre, who appeared on every Jethro Tull album from this point on. Stand Up represents the first album project on which Anderson was in full control of the music and lyrics. The result was an eclectic album with various styles appearing in its songs. Yet an album which remained somewhat in the blues rock mould, which would be the last such album from Jethro Tull. The album quickly went to #1 in the UK charts, while the non-album single, Living in the Past, rose to #3. Recording. The band began recording the album on the 17th of April 1969. Starting with A New Day Yesterday, they recorded Back to the Family and Fat Man on the 21st of April. Jeffrey Goes to Leicester Square on the 22nd of April. Nothing is Easy and Bore alternate version on the 23rd of April. Bore, along with Early in the Morning, unfinished backing track on the 24th of April. Reasons for Waiting on the 26th of April. For a Thousand Mothers and We Used to Know, along with Play in Time, backing track on the 1st of May, and finally Look Into the Sun on the 21st of May. All of the songs were recorded at Morgan Studios in North London, but Bore was recorded at Olympic Studios in South London because Morgan Studios was already booked for the 24th of April. The general routine was that the band would arrive at the studio at 9 a.m. to work on 1 or 2 songs which would be finished by 4 or 5 p.m. Recording engineer Andy Johns tried some new techniques. For example, on A New Day Yesterday, he achieved a swirling, stereo shifting guitar effect by swinging an expensive Neumann U67 microphone on its cable-in wide circles around the studio. The song, Bore, proved the most difficult session, with Anderson and the band unsatisfied with any of the takes they recorded. The final version was compiled later from several takes, with more touches added by Anderson. Album cover. The design of the album cover started with a visit to New Haven, Connecticut during a concert tour in late February 1969. Under the direction of producer Terry Ellis, the band met a woodcarver named James Grasho who followed them for a week in order to properly represent them in wood. The resulting gatefold album cover, in a woodcut style designed by Grasho, originally opened up like a children's pop-up book so that a cutout of the band's personnel stood up, evoking the album's title. Stand Up won New Musical Express's award for Best Album Artwork in 1969. Musical style. The album still shows a great blues influence, as in the first track, A New Day Yesterday. The song, Fat Man, shows an interest in unusual instrumentation, as Ian Anderson plays mandolin, one of the first times the instrument had been used by a rock band. The acoustic pieces, like Reasons for Waiting, already show Anderson under the influence of Roy Harper. The instrumental, Bore, one of Jethro Tull's popular concert pieces, is a jazzy reworking of Bore in E minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. Ian Anderson has said that the chord progression in We Used to Know was picked up subconsciously by the Eagles when they toured together in 1971 or 1972 and used in their song, Hotel California. However, Don Felder, who wrote the music for Hotel California, did not join Eagles until 1974. In a 2016 interview, Anderson stated that the chord progression had likely been used in earlier songs and also called Hotel California a much better song than We Used to Know. Themes. Although not a concept album, Stand Up lyrically is filled with references to Anderson's relationship with his parents, a subject continued on Benefit, especially in Back to the Family and For a Thousand Mothers. Observational poetry could also be found, as in Fat Man and Jeffrey Goes to Leicester Square. The difficult life before the band's success were described in We Used to Know, Remembering Me. Hard life Anderson and bassist Glenn Cornick had at the beginning of the group. Critical reception. Stand Up received mixed reviews upon its release, but more recent evaluations praised the album as a whole for the production and musicianship. The 1969 Rolling Stone review was quite positive, stating that the album has a fairly low raunch quotient, true to form, but it is quite marvelous, and also that the album is not really funky. Rather, it is a meticulously crafted work, no sterility implied, which deserves careful listening. At a time when many of the established stars are faltering, it is a particular pleasure to hear an important new voice. The Contemporary Disc and Music Echo review was less favorable. It considered the expensive cover the most impressive part of the album and Jethro Tull a good live band but still incapable of producing a musically interesting release. American critic Robert Christgau reiterated his dislike of the band, but judged the album adequate in his Village Voice review. A retrospective AllMusic review was positive, saying that the band had solidified their sound with the album, bringing an English folk music influence to several of the songs. It up an overall blues rock foundation. Sean Murphy of Pop Matters more emphatically wrote that Stand Up was a meaningful document from what turned out to be a very transitional moment in rock history. A document created in a rapidly closing artistic window, pre-prog but post-British blues and psychedelic rock. He praised the musicianship of the players and remarked the first examples of the first-rate lyricist Anderson would quickly become. The Record Collector review highlights how the album captured the band on a vertiginous upswing, jubilant with confidence following the drafting in of guitarist Martin Barre, and contained a fresh batch of diverse but uniformly strong compositions. Legacy. A variety of rock artists have cited Stand Up as all-time favorite album over the years, including Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder, Aerosmith's Tom Hamilton, Joe Bonamassa, and Joe Satriani. During an interview with Brave Words in 2015, Anderson selected Stand Up as his favorite Tull album. I suppose if you were to really twist my arm, I would probably go back to 1969 with the Stand Up album, because that was my first album of first really original music. It has a special place in my heart. Quote, releases. The album was reissued in 1973 by Chrysalis Records. In 1989 a MFSL remaster was released, with catalog number UDCD 524. The booklet featured the pop-up woodcut band. Again, the album was reissued in 2001 as a digital remaster. It was reissued on the 5th of October 2010 as a deluxe edition, including 6 bonus tracks on Disc 1, and 2 additional discs, a disc of live material recorded at Carnegie Hall on the 4th of November 1970, and a disc with a DTS surround mix. The material was mixed by Peter Mew at the Abbey Road Studios. It was released again in November 2016 in a box set with 2 CDs and 1 DVD. Named Stand Up, the Elevated Edition. The box contains rare and previously unreleased music, such as an alternate take of, or AA, BBC tracks, radio spots, including new stereo and 5.1 mixes of the album and bonus tracks by Steven Wilson, and a live presentation from a concert in Sweden in 1969, also remixed by Wilson. It also includes a 112-page booklet featuring track-by-track annotations by Ian Anderson, an extensive history of the album, rare and unseen photographs, and a reproduction of the original pop-up book artwork designed by James Grasho. Track listings. All songs written by Ian Anderson, unless otherwise indicated. Original LP album states, all titles written by Ian Anderson. 1969 original release. Side 1. Side 2. 1973 cassette version has same track order, but on opposite sides. The 2010 collector's edition. 3 discs. 2016 the elevated edition. Personnel: Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson, vocals, flute, acoustic guitar, Hammond organ, piano, mandolin, balalaika, mouth organ. Producer: Martin Barre, electric guitar, flute on tracks 2 and 9. Glenn Cornick, bass guitar. All tracks but 5. Clive Bunker, drums. Percussion. Production: Terry Ellis, producer. Cover concept: Andy Johns, engineer. Bass guitar on track 5. David Palmer, string arrangements and conductor on track 9. John Williams, cover concept. James Grasho, cover art. Charts: the album reached No. 1 on the British charts, also selling well in the United States, where it reached No. 20 in the Norwegian charts, where the band toured along with Jimi Hendrix. The album charted at No. 5. Certifications: Nolan, Scott Allen. The 15th of December 2001. Jethro Tull, A History of the Band. 1968 to 2001. Jefferson, North Carolina. McFarland and Company. ISBN 9780786411016. Retrieved 12 March 2016. Raby, Brian. 15 September 2013. A Passion Play. The Story of Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull. London, UK. Soundcheck Books. ISBN 9780957144248. Retrieved 19 March 2016. Jethro Tull, Stand Up. 1969. Album at the Jethro Tull official website. jethrotull.com. Jethro Tull, Stand Up. 1969. Album at All Music. Jethro Tull, Stand Up. 1969. Album review by Bruce Eder. Credits and releases at allmusic.com. Jethro Tull, Stand Up. 1969. Album releases and credits at discogs.com. Jethro Tull, Stand Up. 1969. Album credits and user reviews at pragarchives.com. Jethro Tull, Stand Up. 1969. Album review by Vandab 0B. Credits and user reviews at sputnikmusic.com. Jethro Tull, Stand Up. 1969-2001 remastered version. Album to be listened as Stream at Play. Spotify.com.